Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to.
Remember the Nostalgia Critic? He was a funny guy. No, honestly. Back when screaming and showing clips of movies and TV shows was brand new, he was the king. His format was simple. He would recap the film, throwing in jokes, memes, and reactions as he went. Today he does 40-minute skits that kill all pacing and are often painful to sit through, but back in the day it was a quick 5 to 10 second cutaway. He would still admit if a movie was any good or if it had any redeeming qualities.
I have to be honest, while they are technically bad movies, I do have to admit I actually do kind of enjoy them.
Every week I tuned in, hoping he would cover Spellbinders. Unfortunately, he never did. But here, 12 episodes I think are still worth watching. Why 12?
Because I like to go one step beyond.
Well, I like to go one step beyond the Nostalgia Critic. Number 1. Godzilla. One of his best earlier episodes, great gags and impressions. It happens to have my favourite gag he ever did. Godzilla in New York hiding in a trench coat.
He suddenly disappears?
Not to mention this amazing running gag.
That's a lot of fish.
Yes, that is a lot of fish. Number 2. The Room. This one begins with a fun little Back to the Future jump to the future. This episode actually has a bit of controversy to it. It was taken down by Tommy Wiseau and Doug the Nostalgia Critic had an absolute fit about it. I'm not a fan of The Room, I'm sorry. I think it's insufferable, and the critic's review condenses the entire film and shows you all the best parts and quotes and is way more fun to watch. Number 3. AI. Ooh, a newer one. Well, not that new anymore, I guess. This is the last good episode I remember watching, mostly because I learnt about the behind the scenes, how it was meant to be Stanley Kubrick's attempt at a Spielberg-style film that was eventually made by Spielberg, trying to make it the way Kubrick intended. It's an interesting story, and the review got me into a movie I never cared about otherwise. Number 4, Saved by the Bell. He picked the perfect episodes to cover, and that montage of Becky, what can we say? It's fantastic. Honestly, I wish he did a follow-up where he did more episodes of Saved by the Bell. If my dumb video convinces you to watch any of these, watch this one. 5. It. I probably rewatched this review more than any other. It has the Stephen King drinking game, which actually looks like a really good drinking game. I might try it. It also has a lot of great moments throughout. From him slapping the kid, the balloon with the evil eyes, and the awkward Pennywise leaving the shower room. All of these Stephen King episodes are good, but I think this is probably the best one. Number 6. The Nerd Rivalry. Look, I might be a bit nostalgic blind here, but his rivalry with the angry video game nerd was incredible. I actually recently rewatched his fight with AVGN in the nerd room, and it's terrible. It's really bad, but it still has some early internet charm to it. It was from this rivalry that I actually discovered the Nostalgia Critic, and I remember instantly thinking that this guy is horrible. Oh my god, how can anyone watch him? Anyways, on to my next Critic episode you should definitely watch. 7. Batman and Robin. The review itself, it's just okay, but it's on the list for one reason, and you know what that reason is.
A bat credit card.
Him repeatedly being restrained also gets a chuckle. 8. The new Super Mario show. Well, excuse me, critic. Not much to say, it's just a solid look back at this old TV show. The link part of the review being the standout. Number 9. Moonwalker. This is a really great episode just by itself. One I rewatched a lot and still find pretty interesting today. You can take a lot of his criticism of Michael Jackson and just directly apply it to him in regards to that terrible The Wall parody he made. 10. Short Circuit 1 and 2. I don't care that much for Short Circuit 1, but Short Circuit 2, that's my jam. These were often RTE's The Big Movie on Saturdays in Ireland, so when I saw the Critic was reviewing them, I was pretty excited. The Critic does tear into it a bit, but he's actually pretty fair considering, and it's worth sitting through all of it just for his edit of Johnny 5 being beaten alive.
Not disassembled and alive! No, please! I'm alive!
11. Rocky 4. This is Doug Walker, the Nostalgia Critic, at his prime. My favourite part being where he puts the captions underneath Rocky's World Peace speech. Just on a side note, in Rocky 4, his kid is 6 or 7, but then Rocky 5, a day or two later, at most, he's 15. I don't know, that just always annoyed me. Honourable mentions. Warriors of Virtue. Jingle All the Way. The Wizard. The Captain Planet review. Honestly, anything before 2013 is pretty good. 12. The Langoliers. Maybe not as good as the It review, but to me this was the peak and nothing afterwards was ever as good. The Star Trek ones stand out, but I was mostly watching by habit by this stage, and he would end the initial run a year later with his Scooby-Doo review. Honestly, I wish he had left the Critic dead. I think he would be more fondly remembered if he had. He's like The Simpsons now. Something that went on so far past its heyday, it has now more terrible episodes than good. The shows became far too long, pacing was killed completely with these terrible skits with awful acting. The thing that I hated the most when he came back that let me know it's not the same. It went from this nice, warm, inviting yellow glow to this cold, sterile blue. Ugh. Well, that was my strange little look into this weird world of the Nostalgia Critic. The shows before 2013 they're still a bit of fun, maybe a bit dated, but kind of in a fun throwback sort of way. Give it a go. See what you think.